Hello, my name is Gavin Cruz with James Madison High School. This is 20 Minutes with the Pro, and we are here with Drew Placette, a tech entrepreneur at CanOpener Labs. How are you doing, Drew?
Doing good today. Thank you.
Okay. So, why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
My background is tech entrepreneur, but I like physical products, doing devices and making products. So we do a lot of consumer products, everything actually from like STL products all the way to big military drones that we have, a huge drone here we've been designing. So all kinds of different things. Background came from the Marine Corps, some other things. So I was a United States Marine and worked in government for a long time and then did tech entrepreneur stuff. So it's kind of fallen into my love here.
Are these projects super fun for you?
They are. This is after years of doing different careers. I used to be very corporate, clean cut, and suit and tie every day. Now I'm lucky if I wear shoes some days. I do wear shoes every now and then. But no, this is what I love doing. I love building things and fabricating and designing products and working with electronics. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay. What does a typical day at CanOpener Labs look like for someone in your position?
So I'm the founder of CanOpener Labs. So usually there's a little bit of everything. So everything from in the mornings we'll have the boring meeting stuff, which I hate meetings. I'm not a meeting person. So usually everybody gets mad at me because I come in, I want the 5-second bullets of what's critical, and then I leave. So we do start off with meeting stuff like that. Then I usually go into working with clients and working with products and figuring out our job is, if people can't figure how to do something, our job is to come up with creative, innovative ways of doing things. And so a lot of my time is spent doing that. My office is like a little mini lab. And then we have a full lab here outside with equipment, laser cutters, 3D printers, vacuum forming machines, mills, full woodworking shop. So everything we need to do to prototype and fabricate stuff, metalworking, so forth. So I'll go from a lot of time I spend out in the warehouse. I'm usually out in the warehouse working with the equipment. It's where my love is building and having hands-on. So not being I'm definitely not a cubicle person. So.
Well, that sounds like an engineer's dream. You mentioned you have clients. How many current client projects do you have, or how many client projects have you had in the past? A rough estimate.
Well, I wouldn't know exactly. I'll usually each person usually has about 4 to 5 going on at a time, sometimes less, depending on what the project is. Sometimes we'll have teams dedicated to just one project. So it kind of depends on how big the project is, how long the project is, and what kind of the budget is of the project. So it varies. And I'll be honest. With that side, that's why I have a good team around me. I've hired some amazing people and have some amazing business partners, and their job is to keep track of all those details.
Okay. Can you recall your favorite project or most interesting project you've worked on since being at CanOpener Labs?
Oh yeah, so there's a huge drone we did. So it lifts about 100 pounds, and I decided one day I wanted to do testing. So it's about 7 feet, 8 feet across, and so I put, and it's an octocopter, so it's got 8 big rotors, and so I decided I took a bunch of heavy weights. I put 150 pounds on the bottom of it, and decided I moved the kitchen tables and stuff out of our office kitchen and cleaned out the cafeteria area and put it in the cafeteria. And I was like, I'm just gonna test it because it was night. I didn't feel like going outside. And I kicked it on and I started lifting all the concrete and steel weights I used to hold it down. And I was afraid I was gonna flip over or do other things. And I have an emergency kill on it, and the emergency kill didn't work. So you're supposed to hit the switch and it shuts all the engines off. And so I had to call one of my business partners down. I had to crawl over the drone while it was still running and trying to lift the bricks off the ground, hoping and then kill the power to it. So manually, which was quite fun. And it was very amusing to everybody around watching me try not to get chopped up as trying to do this. So, but so things like that are fun. And we built solar arrays, that pop-up solar arrays. That was one of my last fun projects. Built some, trying to think of ones that there's some fun ones that are, I think, classified. So I don't know if we can. We can't split those, but all kinds of interesting things.
So you launched that drone inside?
I did. I weighted it down. I just wanted to test the props. I wanted to make sure everything wasn't, because I designed and programmed the flight control system for it, and so I just wanted to make sure everything was good and it was sending the right, what they call PWM signals to the motors, or the motor controllers, and it was, except for I forgot to program the kill switch.
That sounds amazing and funny at the same time.
It was terrifying and very entertaining for all of my friends. So,
how long have you been with CanOpener Labs?
So I founded the company. I started the company about 2 years ago now. So I've done different stuff around here, and I had companies in Austin. And I sold out of my companies in Austin, and worked as an executive for some companies here in town. Worked as CTO and CEO for a couple companies. Worked as a CEO for a venture capital fund. But I was miserable sitting at a desk all day, sitting in a cubicle. And then the scooters, everybody loves the scooters around town. So I sat as CTO for Blue Duck Scooters, and spent a lot of time in China and Asia, and working with the factories over there, being on the ground in the factories, designing the scooters and designing electronics for the scooters. And so that was a lot of fun, and then decided it was time to start my own thing, and we started our own engineering firm.
What motivates you to do your job?
Oh, every day's fun. We keep the offices crazy. We've got I love what I'm doing. I like doing things that I love. It's hard because you got to be careful, because if you only do the things you love, if you do things you love to make money, you'll end up hating them. So you have to find a balance between doing things you love and be able to stay financially afloat. So I think we try to make things fun. There's things I don't like doing that I have to do. That's just part of it. So every day we keep things interesting. We have goats in back. We have chickens in back. We're on the runway of the airport. So we've got a couple of acres over here by the runway of the airport with a big industrial complex. So there's nobody out here behind us is a green space, and then way back behind us is the dump, and then the other side of us is the airport runway. So we make it fun. We've kind of had all our pets here. So we have 5 dogs in the office, 5 dogs, 4 chickens, 2 goats, and all things. We used to have an office cat, but he's now at one of our friends' house. But so yeah, we make it we make the office like it's home. So we're not a big company. I don't like big companies, so like small, agile companies. So the goal is to keep it fun. We joke that we're an HR nightmare, so yeah, we try to keep things in balance. but yeah, so a little bit different than your normal corporate environment. So
that sounds like a crazy functional office.
Yeah, we do a lot of social media, so we always post a bunch of our fun social media stuff. So we're always doing random things. Sometimes we do fun projects. We made a can crusher. We drink a lot of soda around here, drinks. So I made a hydraulic can crusher. So you press a button and it uses a pneumatic solenoid to crush cans really fast and spit them across and throws them into a bucket. And then we decided, that's kind of fun. So we should put a counter on it to see how many cans we do. And then we're like, man, we have all these cans. Why don't we do something? So I bought a smelter for smelting metal, and we decided we're going to make our own Fiesta metals. We're drinking all this soft drinks and stuff, so we might as well use and crushing all the cans, might use aluminum for something. So we smelted aluminum and we molded our own Fiesta metals because it seemed like a good idea. And it's a good way to keep you entertained when you have a long day. There's nothing like fire and blowing up things and other stuff to make the day interesting and more exciting. So
Does anyone else in your family work with CanOpener Labs?
Um, my kids are here. My kids are usually here a lot during the week. They're all in school, so I have preschool. One's in preschool, one's in elementary school, and one's in middle school, and one's in high school. So, so right now with remote school, and actually my son's set up over here next to me at his desk. So I've turned part of my office into his desk. So, and then my other son's in an office upstairs, and my daughter's in an office across and on the other side of the building. But my wife's an attorney with USAA, so she's a lawyer over at USAA, and she's when she's working remote, sometimes we have an office set up here, so she can work remote here and stuff like that. But yeah, so not anybody else really besides that, but some friends. And
From everything you're telling me, it sounds like a really huge office.
yeah, we've got about 24,000 square feet of space, I think, with warehouse and everything. So we got a lot of space. We've joked we were like quarantined, and so right now we were on Slim Cruise. There's 4 of us here, and so we're like, okay, we only have about 5,000 square feet per person. So make sure you don't get within, 150 feet of us. So we're working. We have some new projects we're expanding into. We're actually working with a school. So we're career creation. We're going to be doing. We have all these machines. We have all this equipment, and people looking for jobs. So we thought we'd do some fun things by they can come in, they can learn how to use laser cutters, learn how to use some of the woodworking tools, other things, so it can help them get trained for entry-level jobs, or if you're out of high school trying to find some fun stuff that you want to do. That is give you we're going to do some training programs. So we have some space over there. We're about to open up for that.
Huh, that sounds very interesting. Did you go through any type of schooling for engineering or anything like that, just as experience?
So I after high school, it was fun. I always loved working. I grew up from Houston originally, but grew up in Colorado, and I started working when I was young. When I was 13, 14, we always worked full-time jobs in summer. And then my first job, what I wanted to do, I worked for a TV station. I worked as a switcher and then as a technical producer, working in the control room. So when I first went to college, I wanted to do mass comm. I always wanted to work at a TV station. I thought that was fun, not be on the air. I like being behind the camera in the control room. But I did a lot of computer stuff, so IT has always been my love. So I ended up switching to IT, focusing on IT and specifically like networking and computer engineering, and then got recruited out of college. While I was still in college, got recruited by a congressman, United States congressman, to go work for Congress running a special program and sharing electronic equipment district and statewide. Ended up joining the Marine Corps. My best friend would fly up to DC when I was working with the congressman, hang out with me. And so he talked me into joining the Marine Corps. And so I was in combat engineering in the Marine Corps, electrical engineering in the Marine Corps. And from there, just went on and started working with different companies and stuff like that afterwards. But yeah, I always thought differently. So it's not about just your skills. It's about your personality. Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to figure things out? And are you good with people? And those things are critical. You can do anything if you think that way.
That sounds like a lot of experience you've had.
Well, all kinds of great experiences. I'm usually I'm the MacGyver for situations. That's what I've always been. So if you need to figure something out, and so I've had to do a lot of different things because I'm willing to take on all kinds of things. So
you mentioned that you were a combat engineer in the Marines. What was that like?
It was interesting. So I enjoyed it. I think it was a great experience. But I love the Marine Corps. Still have some my uniform over there. I'll see that uniform there. But yeah, it was great. It's definitely military. There's so many good things that the military can do for you. So I had my interesting things. I'm definitely think outside the box, or other kids would, like on weekends, people would go out and party or do things like that. I was definitely the nerd. I'd volunteer for guard duty because I wanted to play I got to play in the war rooms, which have giant projectors and have basically, so I had volunteer for guard duty so I could play and do stuff like that. But or play with all the equipment and things. And so it's funny, but I was messy. So they always get mad at you for you have field days, or they every week where they have to come in and check your barracks, make sure everything's clean. And I was always messy, and I was always they always get mad at me for that. But they gave up on it. Where I was like, okay, well, you get mad at me for being messy, or you can get mad at me for going out and partying and getting in trouble. And instead, I stay here. I'm messy, but I also do all your Excel, all your spreadsheets. I do all your computer work, do everything else. And so like, crud. Okay, fine. We'll leave you alone. You can be messy as long as you keep doing all that stuff for us. So, but it was great.
If a student like me or anyone else wanted to get into your line of work, what core elements from public education would they be using? Math, science, English, or history? Anything like that?
All the above. So I think people think, okay, well, every day, everything I do here is math. I mean, math is critical for all stuff. It's measuring, figuring, calculating sizes. We do a lot of CAD, so I'm constantly doing CAD, designing things on the fly, doing electronics where I'm having to figure out, calculate different circuitry, and calculate current voltage, other things like that you're going to need. So that's critical. And for me, I think history is extremely critical, because to understand why to do things, you have to understand why not to do things. And it makes it a lot faster to prototype and do things if you can understand how things were done in the past and how you can improve upon them. And so I love history. I'm a big history guy. And so I'm not the best writer. So English was not my strong suit. My wife was actually an English professor before becoming a lawyer, and I can't spell, and I'm dyslexic, so it's not my writing's not my strongest, but it's important. I have to do a lot of writing. I still do. I have to write reports. I have to write documents all the time for our projects, and so. But yeah, it's there's a lot of good programs too available at schools. San Antonio has some amazing programs right now, especially with the CAS Tech and with NEISD. They have some different programs, and they're doing. There's some different training programs coming up where the students get to get hands-on. Like, I love shop. I love things like that, and I think you have opportunities now where you can get to some apprenticeships and some internships and stuff like that are great. And it's a good way to get a feel for it. Because I think there's a lot of things I love. CodeUp, or we partner with CodeUp all the time, which is a coding school. But I think too, I'm an IT guy and I can program. Like, some things I hate programming. It's not my strong suit. I like building hardware, I like designing hardware, I like designing computer infrastructure, especially with data centers, designing servers, stuff like that. But when it comes down to sitting in a cubicle or just sitting there writing code for an application, I hate it. I despise it. Not my thing. I'll do it when I absolutely have to. And so I think there's things too where these internships and apprenticeships really give you an opportunity to get some hands-on experience, to figure out, do I really want that? Do I really like that? And think, well, computer stuff, this is what you're going to do for computer stuff. There's 1,000 different things you can do with IT besides just, and even there's network people that are great with network infrastructure that are not good with other things. And so I think with these apprenticeships you can use through schools, you can get the opportunity to realize, okay, well, I think I want to do coding. And you start doing coding, you realize I don't like coding. And so instead of saying, well, I'm not doing anything IT, I'm going to go do something else, it gives you the opportunity to try some other things with in IT and figure that out. And the same with other fields too. It doesn't have to be just that, but but it gives you the opportunity to really kind of experience and feel what area within that specialty you'd like. And so with automotive, you may, there's people that are with, with planes, other things like that. There's all kinds of different areas you can look at with engineering, with mechanics, with all kinds of stuff. So I would take advantage of those programs they have for those schools, look at what they have, and see where you can get opportunities to get hands-on experience.
So high school is important. Taking all your core classes and electives is important too, right?
It is. It's extremely important. So I didn't finish college, and if you look at most, I think it's 70% of Fortune 500 CTOs or chief technology officers haven't finished their degrees. And it doesn't. The thing is, if you don't have a degree, it makes it extremely hard. But if you don't have your core high school education and try to get the most out of it you can, it's gonna make it even harder for you. So there's a lot of stuff I got out of high school that was critical to my career, even more so than college. And so I think there's things there where I think it's extremely important. High school is more important than you realize.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously you love your job, but if you could be something else, what would that be?
I don't know. I've done a lot of different things. Um, Good question. If I went back to things, if I ever got out of this, I'd go back to doing business consulting. I loved working in startups. My specialty was flipping companies, investing, and working with companies, and then flipping companies. So hurrying to get them built, figuring out ways to get them scalable so they could take it from a small company to a company that was a good that would be able to be acquired by a larger company within 24 36 months. And so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed working with teams. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of dynamics, a lot of politics, and it's just a lot of business and financial skills to make sure you're doing it right. So it's interesting.
Okay, well that is all I have for today,
Yeah.
Drew. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, and I'll have a great day. And thank you.